Texas has a whorehouse in it.
Lord have mercy on our souls. In a San Antonio court in 1887, a young British girl of about 15 years old was fined numerous times for vagrancy and for being disorderly. For young Fannie Porter, the charges from the recorder's court were just a cost of doing business. See, she was practicing the world's oldest profession. She was fined repeatedly over the next couple of years, but in 1889, San Antonio changed its approach to vice. The city council established a red light district that was called the Sporting District, which would kind of relegate vice to a specific area of town. Also, it would allow the city to make sure vice parlors were safe, well, safe-ish, and would allow the city to charge brothels, saloons, dance halls, and gambling parlors $500 a year for a license to operate. San Antonio's red light district was notorious for its size and scope, ranking right up there with the vice centers of cities like New Orleans. As San Antonio swung into the 1890s, Fannie Porter was no longer paying petty fines. She was paying for a license for her own bordello. Her initial establishment was called the Three Fives because it was located at 555 South San Saba. When her lease at the Three Fives expired in 1899, she upgraded her digs to a parlor bordello. That was the fanciest type of, whorehouse. A highbrow establishment with fancy sheets, chandeliers, plush carpets, and, parlors. It was at the corner of Durango and South San Saba. Madame Fannie's brothel was just outside the hive of the vice of San Antonio's sporting district, so she could be a little bit more discreet. The Wild Bunch, or what remained of them, Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, Ben Kilpatrick, a.k.a. Tall Texan, Will News Carver, Harvey Kid Curry Logan, they had an affinity for Fannie's place, and many an outlaw found his love and sometimes a partner in crime at the San Antonio brothel. The Sundance Kid met at a place there. Laura Bullion, who was arrested with Ben Kilpatrick, was also a Porter girl. Will Carver paired off with Lily Davis, guess where? And Kid Curry met his lovely Della Moore at Fannie Porter's place. With Pinkerton detectives, including famous Texas cowboy Charlie Siringo, hot on their trail, the Wild Bunch were on the run, and 1901 proved a devastating year for them and their Fannie Porter girls. Della Moore was arrested in Tennessee for passing bills that were linked to a Montana Wild Bunch robbery. The next month, Ben Kilpatrick and Laura Bullion were arrested in St. Louis. Kid Curry murdered 2 police officers and was hunted down and arrested. When he was arrested, in his valise was a telegram addressed to Miss Fannie Porter in San Antonio. It was cryptic. It simply read, "We'll wait till parties come." So obviously they contact Fannie Porter, and when she's being grilled, she's as cool as a cucumber, keeping her promise of discretion to her clients. She said, yes, this man and his cohort most certainly came to visit the previous year, and that the man was known to her as Bob. Just Bob. No last name, not Kid Curry Logan. Bob and his pals stayed at her brothel 3 weeks, she said, and took the girls out driving a lot. She said they had tons of money and they spent it freely, but driving the girls around was their favorite pastime. When Bob left, he took Della Moore with him. Now, Fannie always kept in touch with her girls, so she said she had no doubt that the telegram found in Logan's valise when he was arrested was sent by his lady love, Della Moore, and it was a message between 2 lovers, nothing more, nothing less, and her brothel had nothing to do with any of their crimes. And that seemed to be the end of that. After the Wild Bunch began to dwindle in 1901 and 1902, the trail of Fannie Porter goes cold. She may have had the cash to relocate, change her name, and go into business anew, far, far away from San Antonio. Maybe she married and got a new name the old-fashioned way. What I'm saying is, whatever she did, she didn't do it under the name Fannie Porter, because I can't find her anywhere. Maybe she rode off into the sunset with what remained of the Wild Bunch. In 1914, her parlor brothel became, ironically, an orphanage run by the Carmelite sisters. And from 1990 to 2017, it was a youth center for Boys Town. Then, in 2022, while the city of San Antonio was deciding whether it should receive designation as a historic site, it burned to the ground in a 2-alarm fire. So much of Fannie Porter's life is a mystery. Nobody knows how she came to be a young woman of the night in San Antonio, far away from her birthplace in England, or if Fannie Porter was even her real name. And nobody knows what happened to her once she decided to leave, or if she even left. I bet she would find it hysterical that we still wonder about it more than a century later. So, where do y'all think Fannie Porter disappeared to? I'm anxious to hear your theories. Leave them down below in the comments, and maybe we'll solve a Texas history mystery. Until next time, God in Texas, y'all.